jungle. I just think it might be a little bit too slow to get off the ground in the jungle. That's my concern. You have to level up those abilities to make them not just points in them like normal characters, but through that Mulan passive. I think she needs that time in lane to get ready.
I think that she does too, aggro, as we are.
Call it a desk at the moment? I guess it is, but here we go into game. Obey up against Sanguine. Goremizer will be calling this one with me. Gore, this is going to be an interesting one. Sanguine versus Obey, and not only that, the first look at Mulan in the...
Pushing for whatever you can find, and maybe it's going to be like the carrying counterpoint to Weekend on the Mulan, right? Like, let Weekend come online at his own pace and send this Circuit over to the solo lane.
Oh. Bobby trying to cause problems here up against Jakor. His first game in the SPL, and he could just go down and be first blood. Ducky on Arthur will claim it, but a lot of that really came from inbound and these rotations.
That level 5 threshold, I want to see how Weekend is going to use her ult, how he's going to use maybe her pluck to set up some kills, and Ducky maybe gets a little bit overzealous.
Yeah, Ducky under a bit of pressure here, stunned in place by Jakor, and that's Tether into the sky though. And do see a Thor, he's going to dunk on him, but won't find the angle on Ducky. Ooh. Shinto will though with the crushing wave, and Panitom takes out in round 2. Sanguine get their first kills of the SPL. Played in that Hunter AD carry position in the long lane, but a couple of changes to her and her kit has allowed her to maybe be a bit more influential now, as Ronyu in no man's land is caught between a rock and a hard place literally, and Wolfie will get credit for the kill. Just didn't realize that Obey had that warded up for that first blood. Actually giving that kill to Ducky will at least give him the leading goal, but Ronyu again is too deep, but there's Panitom and Shinto to save the day. The bait was good enough, the double tap through the wall won't land, but Wolfie with the most skill shot ability in the game will at least secure the kill to make sure Ronyu falls down in trip. See this little play from Duck in the right hand side as he's looking to invade onto the blue buff. Jakor's going to beat the Mulan, and it's Mulan versus Osiris. At the moment, Osiris is getting the better end of it, 2 levels up. Shinto with the spout will get credit for the kill, so making 5-3. Netroid, though, trying to keep the hunt going onto inbound, who was trying to make a gank. Didn't really panic there at all. Instead, just got aggressive himself and turned the damage back on towards the ganker.
Able to force inbound away from that. And again, that's what I was looking at actually a few minutes ago was, is anyone going to come over and put pressure on him? Right now, Wowie's looking for the 1v1, but Panitom's in the area. Inbound has left. There could be a Thor dunk.
Wowie, though, with that airstrike did cause a couple of problems, and Wolfie will get credit for the kill onto Netroid. Panitom, as you said, was on the way, but that Thordon wasn't in range. Inbound can't find the kisses, but he will find the ultimate at least, and force the beads out of Panitom.
Already been looking at making that rotation. The minute Panitom showed up, it was just a much better call, and now it opens him up for a huge gank like this onto Yarkor.
Yeah, Yarko just tries to do what he saw Ducky do, and the problem is 3 members strong. That grapple out of Weekend will keep him pinned in place and allow Wolfie to secure another kill with his ultimate.
With all of his abilities, especially with the Circuit on the other side, he can melt her, but she could just as easily melt him.
Oh, Panitom dunking in and strips away the Pyromancer just in time. Shinto gets the kill on Weekend. I thought the zone work out from the boys was great, but that Aegis won't prevent the damage onto Wolfie. Wow. As Shinto gets himself a double kill with a crushing wave. 7-5, and Sanguine snap answer back again. This
huge to have this Habwa be as impactful as he is.
Turtu on the right hand side takes a bit of free poke as we saw Jakor rotate over here and hang around a little bit longer. This Gold Fury has spawned. It's going to be an Oni Fury this time round as well. So this will allow for a bit more pressure on the map if possible. But this dance is working out well. Ronyu going to blink on in, use the ultimate force seal out of Wolfie. Ronyu under a lot of pressure though and should have been falling down to Wolfie gets credit for the kill. Inbound dashes out. 1 pick so far the way of Obey. But everyone's still just dancing around. Keep an eye on those ultimates though. Inbound and Wolfie both use theirs. Netroid also use those Suns.
And then honestly, seeing what teams have dropped, Blink, realistically, the biggest thing down there for Ronyu. Of course, with 20 seconds out, it's not going to matter much, but the Aegis was used by Panitom. Everyone still has beads. There's a lot of, I'm going to poke you to try and force that out. That hasn't been able to come through. Panitom goes dunking down just to look for more.
Yeah, it does force the ultimate out of Weekend there, so that won't be available for this engagement. The Divine Mastery cooldown going to be 100 seconds long for how it is at the moment. And Gold Fury still being toyed with, or should I say again, Oni Fury. Keep an eye on Bobby though, wrapping around the back. No ward coverage to see this coming. He's not got his ultimate up just yet. The wall comes through to pin Bobby in place though, after the blink was consumed.
And now this Oni Fury, it's dangerous once that kind of gank comes through and doesn't find anything, because, yeah, they used some of their cooldowns on Sanguine, but they didn't commit anywhere near enough to make you feel comfortable. Yarkor wants to keep it going. Shinto's back in the area, has his ult, and is easily going to be the one who can confirm this more than anybody else. They're just fishing for kills. This is just blood in the water waiting to happen.
Inbound lost a lot of health, may need to return to base soon. Nice knock, but Shinto hitting 2. Weaken lost half his health. Jakor commits all the way in for Weaken. Gets the tether up, but stunned in place by Wolfie. Wolfie has his ultimate back up, and it doesn't get enough to kill Rongyu just yet. Jakor also grappled back in by Mulan, but it won't be enough to pick him up. Instead, it's Paniton that gets one. Ducky does at least get hold of Shinto, the major carry on the side of Sanguine so far. Meanwhile, spinning away is Ducky onto Netroid, but Paniton takes out Wolfie, and the spin from Rongyu comes back up. The whirlwind of Rage and Steel is enough to get Panitom a triple kill, and this is going to be an Oni Fury for Sanguine, only losing Shinto in the process.
Yeah, I wanted to start that off. The minute Shinto went down, I was like, oh, kind of pull Obey into a trap. And that time around, not only did it work wonderfully for them, because they get that Fire Giant right afterward, they get the Oni Fury that gives them a little bit of pressure. Weaken and Ducky right now are trying to counteract some of that pressure. It's left them with 3 people defending the Phoenix.
But this is the power of Paniton and this Thor, just able to hover in the air and wait, just to allow his team to chip it down bit by bit. So it's dropped down by Netroid. Shinto gets kill an inbound who tried to engage. Weaken came in, Weaken came out, Weaken went back to the fountain. And in goes Jakor, tanking up a bit too much here, but he is opening the window up enough for Sanguine to get the Phoenix. They lose Jakor in trade for Weaken and inbound. Not a bad day at the left-hand Phoenix on the first push from Sanguine.
But Obey are in the neighborhood now. That Phoenix is going to respawn, and they've pushed up enough on the side of left that they could look for a fight.
But still, Mulan on the left-hand side. This is a 4v5, and now Ducky under pressure as Jakor jumps on Wolfie. Wolfie forced to ult defensively there. Panitom in the sky looking to support, will crash down onto the front line of inbound. Metroid credit with a kill, 1 by 1. They're falling down here, Obey, as Mulan is slowly limping over to this fight. The pings are raining down on Weaken to let me know they're on the way. And now Sanguine have to turn tail. They're trying to peel back, making sure the last 3 members of Obey can't do anything about this. Sanguine gonna fall
down for 50 seconds. They're fishing for those relics. They're fishing for those abilities. You burn them down, and that makes it a lot easier for Panitom to go for a dive into the back line. But right now, he's out of position.
Panitom committed on there for a second, was forced to beads away from this stun coming out from the inbound there. I should say the kiss. Wolfie, though, completely under pressure now on his own, trying to hide in the fog. Panitom says, not today, my friend. The lightning Thor compels me. Inbound still alive for a moment until Shinto lands the spout. And now onto the Phoenix they go. Panitom gets himself another double kill. Could even be a triple. Well, it looks like Ducky and Bowie may get away. No, Shinto will get himself 1. Panitom another. And that's going to be game 1 going the way of Sanguine. It all comes back to that fight around the Oni Fury Gormizer. Obey got a kill. Didn't capitalize. Sanguine came.
Obey has a chance with this composition, but man, Sanguine's comp looks really, really good.
Well, you're right. If the plan was for Obey to fight this much around these 2 big CC setups, then Aphrodite and Hell kind of have to go, right? They do a great job of counteracting both of those almost in their entirety. So I think the pick...
More Hebo in your games going forward. But into game we go. Gormizer joining me once again. Gore, we're going to see some Mulan solo this time round.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how different it's going to be. Obviously, Yarkor is not going to be leaving the lane anywhere near as much, so I don't expect to see a ton of ganks early on. It's the best way to describe it is a support, right? I mean, that's the role that they play, but realistically, we see, especially out of inbound these last games, even Rongyu last game, playing something aggressive where they want to fight.
What's going wrong in the jungle there? Level 4 couldn't get away from Shinto, who used the last of his mana to realize it was an opportune moment to take...
Going forward, because otherwise, there might not be anything for him.
Cheeky attempts in mid lane from Panitom, dunking down and forcing Merlin to use the beads and jump away. But the wall does connect. We've got 2 fights at the same time. Merlin will just about survive. Jakor, the same can be said. He's done a good job so far of getting all the Totomakus, but this gank again from inbound may be his demise once more. Minion body blocks come into play, and Obey find themselves a kill again. Just like they're picking up that Spear of the Magus this game as well. It's an item we don't see too much of just lately. It had quantum of its text changed in the past season, where now its subsequent hits of the same ability deal 6% increased damage. Stack up to 6 times, but I'll come back to that in a minute as the Gold Fury is under threat, being bursted heavily by this Merlin, and Obey will get credit for it, but what about the fight after the fact? The Rebuke's going to keep Inbound in place, but Inbound still has the Ragnarok available. It will still fall down to Run You in the River's Rebuke, though, and Weaken, who went in very deep, gets destroyed by Shinto on the tail end of that engagement. So it's a 2-0, but Obey get the Gold Fury for Obey, Pyro, and 2 kills for Sanguine. I want to say that's kind of even.
It comes out pretty much at the same point that they entered it. Sanguine has been always just slightly ahead in gold than Obey, and the biggest thing, I think, being able to kind of swing their way. That Gold Fury was a good way to start the fight, but those couple of kills maybe coming out as a bigger factor for them, mainly because of the potency it gives afterward. Inbound looking to get potentially caught out here.
Yeah, he is in a bit of trouble. Has Rock on Ragnarok, great turnaround up to Panitom, no! Where's your beads now, Panitom? Inbound needs a bit more help, will survive on the tail end. We can look for the power, wasn't Jakor. Jakor a little bit late on those beads from Jakor for my liking. Still ended up getting pulled in, but no further damage really continues there. That was a great chase out of Sanguine and look to respond accordingly. That's where both of them seem to have found a bit of a success so far in this set. I will want to see how this goes on. Inbound and Weaken stepping up to investigate what's going on, but Weaken got hold of the Oni Fury by mistake, forced to use his beads and jump away. Meanwhile, Inbound forced to commit in, gets a lot of damage off on Rongyu, but Rongyu still fine and alive. Ducky and Weaken back in though, Paolo up in the sky. Meanwhile, the duck down from Panitom on the front side onto Wolfie. Won't be enough to get the kill there. The focus is a split fight between the two. 3 members of Obelo on this side as Wolfie now falls. Netro gets a kill on Inbound. The dive in from Sanguine to the back line as the front line of Obey engaged at the same time. Ends up being a 4-2 exchange. Shinto and Rongyu go down, but 4 members of Obey and only Ducky left standing. He's going to stop the Oni in his own now.
And they're still ready to fight here. Yarkor's a little low. I don't know if I like him getting aggressive, but he has that heal, and that's going to be enough to zone out Ducky, at least for a little bit. And that's where Netroid, those Devos...
moment in the jungle to find some vision, and we can just get him pinched a little bit there, force that fight where Obey had to take the engagement, and I don't think they really wanted to after all said and done, but the re-engage happened and it didn't go well. Rongyu though picked up both the beads. That doesn't get away from the Desert Fury out from Wowie though. In this guy's Panitom, he might look towards Wowie. Wowie being tripped away by 3 members surrounding him. Ducky meanwhile tries to get hold of Netroid, but Netroid leaps away to safety. Shinto's ultimate is up and Wolfie is now down. The barrels of the war compel him, and we can now looking to escape. Really tough spot for him to be in there. No one in range to jump to on his own team. No Harpy camp available to get away from. 3 more members die on Obey in that engagement for just Rongyu yet again. Fire Giant started up by Sanguine, and it's all on Ducky to try and defend.
And he's hanging out, but I don't know if it's going to matter. There's the mark through the wall. They have vision on him at least, looking for the zone. That's what you need to get a Fire Giant.
Yeah, should be able to get this Fire Giant. Netroid also gets the kill on Ducky as well. You can see Netroid's really swinging right about now. Full range start. A bit trickier this time around for Sanguine on the Siege, just because last fight we saw in that team fight stage, it was around the Fury, so the space was there for the team to dive into the backline a little bit more so. Sanguine want to do that this time around with that grapple onto Wolfie. Wolfie will flicker away for the time being though. Into the sky goes Panitom. Inbound jumps in. Might be in a bit of danger. Ducky tracking around the back, trying to keep Jakor busy. Panitom crashing into the backside at the same time. Gets hold of Wolfie, but Wolfie's still alive for now. Weaken did jump in, but Ducky bursted through his ultimate. Can't survive the damage. Wowie at least does take out Panitom with that Desert's Fury, but into the tiny extreme we go again for Sanguine. Weaken goes in, forced to use his beads. Shinto removes him from the map for the 5th time. Phoenix with no minions. They're going to wait for the next wave to come through. Shields and the sustain from those heals coming out from Rongyu are going to be even more impactful.
Yeah, the only thing I'm seeing that stands out to me is going to be that Divine Ruin. It's not doing enough.
And it's on half health by the damage out from that Ragnarok and follow-up from Wowie and Wolfie, but Inbound's ultimate used. Now into the front room once again goes Sanguine. Panitom's up and down from the ultimate. Up goes the power from Weaken. Looking to pull in a couple of targets. Doesn't get hold of anyone. Did at least strip a set of beads, I want to say, there on the tail end of that. Sanguine just happy to wait around a bit here. They do have a minion wave pouring down less slowly but surely as the Phoenix now gets chipped away at. Rongyu tanked it up for the time being. Still not scared to throw out some of those bubbles, funny enough. I expected to just keep him focusing on the mending waters a little bit more so. But he's really not too worried at the moment with that Fire Giant sustain. Ducky's ultimate down, Weaken's ult down, inbound's ult down, inbound. Weaken also lost his beads just then. And Rongyu getting very, very low. Jakor tanking up as long as he can. Inbound forced out, Shinto gets hold of Ducky at the same time. And Woe's also within an inch of his life as Shinto gets a double kill. Could be a triple, no, Jakor will get another kill for himself. And that could be all she wrote here. Sanguine should be able to secure the game now.
I'm going to say it again. Post 20 minutes, Sanguine seems to be a different beast to deal with right now. A River's Rebuke going up. No one's within 30 seconds of respawning, so it's not blocking anything out there from Rongyu. But